Hello, once again, and welcome to the TheBraTalk. Now, I played that song for a good reason, and we're going to be exploring that in a minute. But I want to appreciate you for being here. We have people, we're going to be live on Instagram and on YouTube and all that. But I'm glad that you are here. Brenda, Stella, thank you. And I appreciate you, Mrs. Nike Ajayi, for gracing this occasion. Before we go into the main event today, which is the Girls Talk Cafe, the Girls Talk, I think the light is just all over my face. Let me just see how I can access. The angle of sunlight is just like, okay. But we're going to run through this, right? Because I'm really excited about this time because this is one of my best kept secrets in 2020. And it's something I know that everybody can actually benefit from, and I would explain that further. But first of all, I want to give a brief history about the Brat Talk. So I initiated this Brat Talk in the year 2018 when I realized that in the course of fitting bras, women with bras that fit them and helping them to connect with their wellness and all that, it got beyond that for me. It began to go beyond that to the wholeness of the woman, to how the story starts from whatever physical thing that is the issue for us, right? Maybe it's getting a good pair of shoes, wearing the clothes that fits just well, wearing the right bra, or signing up, learning something new. Whatever we start from on the physical level is actually connecting us to something deep within. And so for me, I began to see that for every woman I come in contact with, for everyone I solve this breast support issue with, there is underlying conversation that we get to talk about. And that really points directly to our sense of wellness as women, our self-worth, and even goes down to the narrative that we've had in the past about ourselves, about the narratives we have about our bodies. Why? So I can tell you, for instance, that a woman doesn't feel good when she thinks that her breast size are too big, rather, or her breast cup size is too big, and that goes into a lot of things, not wanting to do some things because I don't think I can fit into this kind of career path because of the size of my breast. Yeah, people in this line of work, they are not so busty, they are size zeros or things like that. And we find ourselves concluding on ourselves based on the data that we have from the outside that doesn't measure up with who we really are. And so that was what brought me to start asking myself. And one of the beacons of a new phase for me is when I begin to ask, is this all or is there more? Is this all or is there more? And I began to see that there is a whole lot more to me than just putting a woman in a 36J who never had it all her life. A woman who never had a 36J bra all her life, for instance, is battling other things in her area. So it opens a whole lot of conversation, that already now sees us solving issues beyond this. That's a brief history. And so far we've talked about breast cancer, we've talked about even Owambe, we've talked about attending occasion, how to be socially functional in the previous battles. We've talked about intimacy, we've talked about last month we talked about weight loss journey from an everyday woman point of view, how some of the things how we have to start from where we are with what we have and work with what works for us. That was what Buki Luyamade talked with us about last brass session, which was last month. And now we're talking about the Girls Talk Cafe. And Nika is going to tell us more about the Girls Talk Cafe. But one thing I want to tell you about the Girls Talk is very phenomenal. Here in this cocoon, we actually go like straight to where the issue is, and we're able to bring this and interpret this with respect to how it works for us personally. I'm not going to go to all the things because I'm not an expert in all this, but I can tell you that being at the Girls Talk Cafe this year has been phenomenal for me. And like what you see today may not be what you see tomorrow. That's literally it. You see me this week here on the TheBraTalk. By the time I'm coming for the next TheBraTalk, you see a different dimension of me. I'm telling you that. And so so I would allow Nika to talk about that. She does her thing, she knows her stuff, and we are going to get onto that. So so I'm going to take that spotlight off me. And like I said, I'm dealing with a number of technology issues right now, but we are going to just go through with this and we're going to be very fine. So I'm going to take the spotlight off me. There's something on my laptop that actually makes me feel, keeps me safe, which is one of the things I will talk about. Now, this thing keeps me safe from attackers, from hacking, but now it just, when I'm doing something important, there's a way it now comes on my screen, like, I'm keeping you safe here, are we all good? And I'm saying, oh, thank you, you can just go off, I'm good. Okay, so what I want to do now is to take the spotlight, put it on Nike, spotlight for everyone. Yes. So yes, the spotlight is on you now, Nika. Thank you so much for coming on this talk. I know that we have gone through. In fact, Nika is I've known Nika for a long time. Like, I can't even put it now. I can only, most of the time when I think about you, Nika, I think about you in terms of our journey. So while I don't necessarily put years to it, I measure my friendship and relationship with you in terms of experiences and encounters, which for me, I'm saying it right now in the moment because I didn't even think about it that way. I'm just like, okay, how long have I known Nika from? I'm like, oh, okay, I can't count it in years, but man, I can
count 10 years, maybe like 9-10 years. Do you know, one day I actually thought of it. I was like, wait, how long have I known Buki for, Sen? Like you say, we measure, some people measure in time, some people measure in whatever, some people measure in currency, some people measure in I think the connections and whatever they're able to get from this person or whatever they're bringing from the table. But I think with you, it's been about the encounters, it's been about the experiences, it's been about the different stages of life that we have, the different phases of life we've had to go through. There was a time we used to say that, it seems as if we're not talking, but we're both going on almost a similar journey, right? Both having the same spiritual experience, and by spiritual, I don't mean religious. I mean that aspect of us that we get to know more and more about. So yes, it's been an amazing journey being your friend, and I know I say it all the time. Buki, you can't take away your video. You and I, we have talked about this thing, and I've told you how being on that end with your video makes me like,
I know. I was just trying to adjust the light. I can see a lot of light. The angle of the sunlight is changing, and my window blinds are not.
Yes,
I just took that off.
Yes.
I hope it's better now, though. Yeah. Oh yeah, your girl is here for you anytime, any day.
Thank you. So have you been? I know how today has been for you, at least that one I know, and I hope we get into that conversation at some point here. But my name is Nika Ajayi. I'm glad to be here. I'm the creator of the Center for Simple Radical Change, and what the Simple Radical Change is that it's a framework for creating fast, explosive change in any area of life, love, or business. So that is the shortest introduction of myself that I can give.
That works.
Abby?
Yeah.
Abby?
Works.
Okay, if you want me to give more, I'm willing, I'm ready. I don't know what you have at your end. Like I said, this is going to be a conversation, a chat amongst friends. So it's I'm looking forward to it, and I know I'm going to have a great time.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me just read out your profile. Like, let's just cover that end.
Thank you, Stella.
So Adenike Ajayi is the founder of the Center for Simple Radical Change and creator of the Simple Radical, a framework for. She's the founder of the Center for Simple Radical Change, and she's the creator of the Simple Radical Change, a framework for creating fast and explosive change in any area of life, love, or business. Over the years, she has worked with hundreds of entrepreneurs and business professionals spread across Europe, UK, America, Canada, and Africa, using key transformational leadership tools, empowering them to plan their lives and challenge their thought process towards overall growth and improvement. She's happily married and lives in Lagos with her family. Now, all protocols observed. I just did. You're muted.
Sorry.
Okay, good.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can now.
Okay, okay. I'm so sorry. A call came in now, and I didn't activate my do not disturb. Um. Okay, so let me take the conversation from here. Being a trainer, a result coach, a performance consultant, to many, one thing I've discovered is that as women, we all want the same thing. We want our needs are the same, even though we go about fulfilling these needs in different ways. So everybody can attest to it. We want money, we want fulfilling relationship, whether intimately, socially, or professionally. We want to make better career choices. We want to make better decisions in our lives. We want to have a healthy self-esteem and a healthy confidence. People want to, especially women want to enjoy an easy, fulfilling life, be in sync with who they are, and this thing doesn't, they are not out of the world. They are good things, right? People want to be in a state of flow. That's something I hear you talk about all the time. Like, I'm in a state of flow. I want to be in a state of flow, and that need is valid. People want to live an authentic life generally, where all these things are happening to them, and they are also happening to life. But instead, what I've found out is that people are at this place in their life where they feel that something is holding them back. They feel dissatisfied, they feel disconnected, they feel discontented, they are frustrated. Sometimes some of them are depressed, and these things stop them from living a healthy, fulfilling life, right? Some people are even dissatisfied with the results they are producing in any area of their life, where be it relationship, be it in career, be it in even personal life or personal growth. They feel like something is not aligning for them. The life they want is not the life they are living. And if we all want to look at it, we've been there, and I've also been there. I've also been there. There was a time, whom I knew myself to be, whom I thought I could be, wasn't the same person that I was living in reality. I wanted more. I kind of saw people live the life I wanted to live. I saw people do the things. In fact, okay, let me tell you something. There was a time watching TV. Watching TV was like a pain because I would see people do the things I could do on TV. I could even do better. Sometimes I'm looking at people, I'm like, this is how this person can do it. You can do it like this, you can do it like this, you can be
Yeah,
better like this. And you just be like, so
yeah.
how come some people are having it all and then I'm not having it? Like, aside
For
from
me,
TV, so going on social, you were going
yeah.
to say.
For me, I find I recite this thing mentally. Like I just have this imagination that, let me call it a movie corner where I act all my perfect script, out of, and then when it comes to my reality, the scripts don't align, and I'm
They
like,
don't. They don't. And that thing is, in fact, I was going to say that going on social media too was the torture because you see people putting their best foot forward, living their life, looking, slaying and all of that. And it wasn't even just about the slaying, it was about that sometimes you see the smile and you see that this person is genuinely happy and you're wondering, okay, so how come that can be me? This person seems to be living their life. I think everybody has experienced that, and I've also experienced that. Many times I try to pick myself up, give myself that pep talk, say to myself, what, Nike, you can do it. You've done it before in the past. Just generally be your own motivator
yeah.
because it seems like there is almost nothing else. You've been there, you've heard that, you've done all of that, and as much as you do that, you gradually begin to lose your confidence. You lose your confidence in your own abilities. You gradually begin to get depressed. And this thing, I think, is true for most of us women. Because we wear many hats. We're this person to this person. We're moms. We're the mom. We're the homekeeper. We're the sister. We're the wives. We're everything and everything, different things to many people. And that gradually begins to make us lose who we are, make us lose the concept of who we are, make us lose our own confidence in ourselves. And as time goes on, it seems like we're lost and we've lived our lives for so many people. We've done things for people that we put ourselves on the back burner. And, when care is not taken, or when that happens over a long time, we then begin to feel resentment towards the people we did it for. That's why sometimes some parents snap, yell, beat, hit their kids because they feel I have lived my life for you. They are angry, they're resentful because they feel they've lived all these things for them,
Yeah.
and they don't have anything to show for it.
Yeah.
And it's something that it happens to us until we get to that point when we say, okay, hold on. Now let us retrace our steps and let us get to that place where we can begin to find me. And finding me is that place where GTC serves to help people understand who they are, help people understand, have three basic things that GTC does, the Girls Talk Cafe does for people, is the self-knowledge, help you understand yourself. When you understand yourself, that means you understand the things that are important to you. Many of us feel we know ourselves, but the truth is we really do not know ourselves. How are you able to know yourself if you do not know the things that are important to you? You don't know what your values are, and the values are the things that make you tick, the things that affect the things that affect the decisions you make, that affect the actions you take, and even your behavior. Now, most times we have lost that sense of what is truly important to us. So that's the first journey. Remember, I said that there are basically three sets of journey you go through to understand you and to know who you are. Self-knowledge is the first journey, and the first thing we do under self-knowledge is to understand your values. What's important to you as a human being? What makes you tick? Another way I personally look at values when I work with people is that I want to understand the unconscious reason behind the things that they do, because that is also something that you find that is important to people. Now, when we go on that journey of identifying your values, there's something that right next to it is quite dear to my heart. And I know you can speak of this right now because you've experienced it. It's the beliefs. As women, as Africans, whatever it is, we've had beliefs that are not particularly helping us. Now, our beliefs are the thoughts that we have that either propel us towards towards a specified goal, or they hold us back from what we truly want. Okay,
Yeah.
beliefs like I am capable of doing anything I put my mind to is an empowering belief. So there are basically two different categories under beliefs. We have the empowering beliefs and we have the limiting beliefs. For the limiting beliefs, these are the thoughts that we hold in our mind that pull us back or hold us back from that very thing we consciously want to do. So most times people do not know, and then it's almost insidious. It is insidious because you don't know it's right there. You want to do something, you want to be seen, you want to step out, you want to be heard, you want to live an authentic life. But there is a belief that runs in your mind, and our beliefs comes from our caregivers, our parents, our teachers, our peer groups, our environment generally. That's why sometimes some people from this place don't get married. It's because of the belief that runs around them. They could have this belief that men are filling the
Yeah.
blanks. So people
Mm.
hold beliefs that necessarily do not propel them towards where they want to go, but they do not know. They haven't done that journey. They haven't gone on that journey to
Mm.
truly understand self, to have a knowledge of self, to know that you have a bad habit, or to know that you have something, an attitude that is not right, is some
Mm.
level of self-knowledge. Now, to go about changing it is a higher level. So
Yes.
when we
Like
look at
somebody
values, we also
like somebody
like
who wants to
somebody.
get married but thinks all men are bad because yeah.
Exactly. How do you make that work? How does that even make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you're definitely going to make a bad show or a bad place of that marriage. Not because the guy is bad, not because you as a person, you're also bad, but because there is a thought that runs in your mind that
Mm.
says that all men are shit. So you know what? You can't trust them. So you go, everything, you begin to nitpick and suspect everything that it does. Now, when you are not aware of that belief you have, you would almost say you're right. You would, in fact, almost automatically, the belief is that it's the problem is not with you. The problem is with the guy.
Yeah.
Where you don't even understand that there is a programming running on the inside of you that is working against what you consciously want. You consciously want a good marriage. You
Mm.
consciously want the best out of life. But there is a way things that have been done to you in the past or said to you in the past has programmed or conditioned the way you think. Let me give you one belief that I know that people in our age group would know. Money doesn't grow on trees.
Oh yeah.
We heard our parents
Yeah.
say that to us. Money doesn't grow on trees. You know what that made us believe? It's hard to come by money.
Money, yes.
So you will have to sweat. While for some people, it's not like that. Because if money is an exchange of value, then all you need to know or to have is to have something of value or be someone of value so that there can be an exchange. But you know what our parents said to us? You think there is a tree of money at the back of my house, blah, 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 blah.
Mm.
But yes, you say, I want to drive the Maserati, I want to do this, I want to, and then sometimes I look at people when they say some things, I'm like, here we go again. Here is an unconscious human being who thinks that it is a confession or is an affirmation that makes the work happen.
Mm. Mm.
There is a conditioning already working, a programming already working inside of you that we then need to work at, change to an empowering one. Then we're able to, at least like, you knowing these things, even you knowing this belief is a level ahead of the regular people who are not even conscious or aware of themselves, of their own limitation, of their own kind of mindset that they have, right? Now, the third thing that we do.
So before you go to the third one, I want to just talk about the identity. What that did for me when we talked about value system. So we talked about values. For me, I'm taking on different values. Like, oh, okay, what are the values? Okay, core values. This is it. Cliche. But
cliche.
When you took us through the structured way of identifying what was important to you,
to us.
that made me look into my circumstances right then, and I made a very hard decision. Like, this is me. And it gave me the strength to make that decision and put me in a better place. Like, I've not even finished unpacking that, so I love the way you do values. Like, there are some things that mean something to you. And you know what? While the same thing may mean something to something else in terms of name, the meanings of the meaning of being rich for one person is different from rich to another person.
Totally.
So that was an eye opener for me. Like, girl, what is important to you? Define it. Don't even put the label on it. Define it. And if you fit any label, fine. But the meaning. So for me, I wanted to just put that out there. That
thank you.
Something.
So sometimes when I go to some places where I'm invited to speak and people go, oh, and it's so funny, people walk up to me. I'm like, I know my values. I'm like, oh, okay, so please do tell me. Then they begin to repeat the conscious value. Like, I did it at some point, but I think in all fairness, yes, maybe I did it at some point. So remember when we were still single and then they asked, what kind of man do you want? Well, nowadays it's even worse because when I hear it, I'm like, oh, wow. Okay, that's all. People go, I want a God-fearing man. I'm like, okay. Somebody that, just takes care of me. I'm like, okay. I'm not saying, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying a God-fearing man is wrong. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is most times what we consciously know about ourselves is totally different from who really we are on the inside. Remember the first day of this workshop where you and I just stepped out from. I said something about the conscious mind and about how our conscious mind is the decision-making mind, is the thinking mind, is the analysis mind, right? The one that is we are aware. So if the conscious mind is what makes us what you and I, we decided, okay, we're going to come on at 6. Okay, so we decided that's our conscious mind. And it is just 5 to 10% of our mind. Now, where the big chunk of is the unconscious mind. The unconscious mind is 90 to 95%. That is our emotional self. That is our emotional part. That is the domain of the memories we've ever had, all the memories we've had in our lives, the experiences we've had, our emotional part, the domain of everything. So right now, the unconscious is the one responsible for pumping the blood to your heart. You can't say it, you don't know what's happening, but that is the work of the unconscious mind, right? While the conscious mind is the one, listening to me, taking on the information, also looking at, okay, this works, this light is doing what. That's the conscious mind. Now, what most people do not know is that the unconscious mind is formed by repetition and our earliest exposure in life. So before we clocked 7, our unconscious mind had been formed, had been like we had some thinking that had solidified in our mind even before that stage. Now, of course, as we go on, those things are repeated and repeated, our exposure to them, to even things are done over and over. And then someone wants to say, you've seen your parents do some things, you've learned, unconsciously learned how a marriage works, whether it's for good or for bad. You've heard some things that a neighbor has said, a friend experience has been, so many things have happened. And then you're going into marriage, and you don't, first of all, know that you even need to step back and look at yourself and be like, okay, I'm going into this marriage, all the razzmatazz and everything is fine. But then who is this person going into this marriage? Or let's even tell it back. I want to go into a relationship. Who am I myself? What are the things that matter to me myself? What are the experiences I've had in my life that would not aid this relationship I'm going into? So sometimes when people say, no, it's so difficult nowadays to find a husband, I'm like, that is one belief right there you want to change.
Yeah.
Because the more you have it, now I know you must have had experiences you've done, but there is something you're doing or something someone else around you is doing or has done that has formed that belief for you. So the whole idea is that people come and they think they know what their values are, which was the point I was making when you mention the values. People think they know what their values are, and then they come to me and like, I know my value. My value is honesty. I'm very big on honesty. My value is integrity. And I'm looking at them and I'm like, I just smile like, oh, okay, that's interesting. Then when they come up close, personal, and then we're working together, and you say something like, but you said it's like, oh my God, I didn't realize it was like this. And this thing is so true. This is me. This is me. Mm-hmm. So, going on that journey, on that process of discovering value really makes you know you and you connect with you. Now, how that journey, the benefit of doing that, and I said this to someone 2 days ago who was finding it difficult to making a decision. And I said to this person, I said, you know what is your number one value? And she said it to me. I said, these 2 things you're battling with right now, which one leads you to achieving this thing? And then she paused. So let's assume growth is her number one value. Then she's faced with either going to a party or going to see a friend, or she's staying in the house and doing this session we did. And she was like, but this person is important. I'm like, okay, fine. It's okay. I don't want to say to you, do this or don't do this. That is not my role in your life. My role is to be your guide. Okay. So which of these 2 leads you to the actualization of this value that you have? And I said, whatever decision you take is just fine. And then I went off the phone. Of course, the person reported it. Really? Because, and I said to her, it's not something I'm doing because I want you to take a decision. I just want you to understand that when you know your values, it's not for you to close the book and go around it saying, I know my values. I know my values. No, your values guide your decision. That is the reason why you decide. Now, most times people are not conscious about it, then they decide. But the moment you're conscious about it, you know what is important to you at your very core. That thing that if everybody takes it away, they will take every other thing away. When they take this one away, you would fight, you would do all of that. When you do that, when you know that, you are able to live your life consistently to be able to match this value. Because I say to people, anytime you are not living congruently with who you are internally, the part of you is dying.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, please.
What role does culture play in determining values as women? in this in the African part of things, because sometimes we take on this value because they were either passed on to us and we've given them the definition that was handed down to us. And then we come, we're educated, and we're like, oh no, and we find ourselves going to the other extreme. No, my parents' marriage was like this. I don't want mine to be like that. And we don't, but we don't understand we're running a program in that same environment that they took from, but we may be having like another shade of brown to their shade of red or something.
Yes.
So what role does culture?
Okay, so culture, environment, by environment, I mean the people, I mean the things you expose your mind to. So the kind of things you feed your mind on, the TV programs and all of that shapes us in ways that most times people don't even know the depth of it. Now, as you grow, it gets to a point whereby internally you just begin to feel, no, I don't want this like this. Oh, no, I want to do something better. Oh, I want to do something better. Now, for me, I like people who are at that stage because that is that transforming stage. Sometimes people who don't have the guide or the help at that point either go to the extreme, right? Because they are made to feel like they are crazy. Why should you want this thing? All of us in this family, this is how we do it. So why should you want this thing? Then you're being a black sheep. Then you're being rebellious. You're being this, right? Now, what most people do not know is that is the defining moment where you can decide, am I going to be me? Am I going to embrace me? Am I going to take what really matters to me? Or am I going to follow the crowd as usual and lose myself, lose my peace, lose my identity, right? So yes, culture does make, yes. Now, as we grow in age, we are meant to grow in consciousness, enlightenment, awareness. Because when you expose yourself to higher ways of thinking, you just don't expose yourself to those higher ways of thinking. You expose yourself to higher ways of thinking to be better. Because if you look at it, our time now is different from our parents' time, right? Where this is an information age. What are you doing with the information you're getting? Our parents didn't have this kind of conversation go on when they were also growing and when they started their own journey in life. We have this kind of conversation. What are we going to do about it? So, like I said, as we grow in age, we are meant to grow in enlightenment and consciousness. We are meant to then be at the bus driver, at the bus seat, at the driver's seat of the bus of our life. No longer being run by our parents, being run by society, being run by, peers. People, that's why, earlier on I was saying to you or to the group when someone said, oh, but this slogan had been in repetition for a while. And I said, that's because people don't pause to think. What do you want for yourself? Because the thing I have discovered is that if you don't pick you, at the end of the day, you will be miserable. When you're miserable and you cannot do better, these same people would not remember that the ones that asked you not to pick you, they will still come and talk at you. Now, when you pick you and you have clarity and you know how to navigate this road, you realize you become successful. They come back to say, okay, we were wrong and you were right. But when you keep people pleasing, you keep abandoning yourself, you keep seeking external validation, you want external approval, you want people just accept me because you lose who you are. And that is that journey itself. Girls Talk Cafe takes us through to say, see, things have happened to you, let's come back. Things might not even have happened to you that is drastic, but let's start this journey with identifying who you are and going on this journey where you are depressed, where you're discontented, where you are dissatisfied, where you're frustrated, to this place where you live an authentic life and you can make more money, you can have fulfilling relationship first with yourself, with others, in your career, you can make better decisions, you can make better health decisions, you can live an authentic life, you have a healthy self-esteem, right? That is that journey where GTC takes us through from here to here, where you are then now able to be like, okay, now I have clarity. The life I've been living obviously has not been mine. We are going on this journey and I'm making something happen for myself. Because what would be the difference? Yes.
Go on. And I think it's important that anytime we get to that point, especially of overwhelm, and I think different scenarios in our lives, points where we feel that point of transformation, whether we're questioning
Yeah,
things or we have we're ill or drastic events that just tell us you have to take a look, at how your journey has been so far. I think whatever point that is, it's important to go on that journey. Why? Because I
definitely.
I, I sense that as women, we feel that pressure of, and we've stated that before, oh, after taking care of family, taking care of this, taking care of that, we still want to be the mompreneur of the year. So we have that pressure of being who we want to be. It's always with us, but we keep putting it off until it can be put off no more, and then it comes off
Yeah.
in different ways, and then sometimes we all go ballistic and like, what's wrong? I'm not walking away from things and things like that. So I think,
And do you know
yeah.
what happens when people don't hit to that internal nudge, and then they just keep abandoning self. I keep saying this: you can't pour from an empty cup. Women, we don't
Hmm.
understand how much. Yeah, you can't pour from an empty cup. We don't understand how much of a life wire we are. So there's this thing I say:
Whoa.
if I am not all right, honestly, my house cannot be all right. My career cannot be all right. My husband cannot be all right, because if I'm miserable, he will suffer for it. So
Before now, sorry, that before now that be like, let everybody be all right, though. I need everybody to be all right. If I heard that before, I'll be
exactly.
like,
But you've gone on this
so,
journey
like,
and you know
babe,
better.
stars, everybody go do all right, so be all right.
Everybody go there, all right? Because see,
All
women, we want
right.
to be everything to everybody. The one that does not
Yeah.
concern us, we want to go and shook our head. And I think the way culturally a woman has been raised is to abandon herself and think less of who she is or less of what is important to her.
Wow.
So
Wow.
when that thing keeps happening, now you're old, they've kind of like, okay, nobody's putting that pressure on you anymore. But because as a result of conditioning, you've carried on the baton and then you're doing the same to yourself.
Woo!
That is why a woman will get married and then it's about, oh, my husband's this. Please, nobody should get me wrong. I'm married. My husband is in the room. He cooked dinner this night. Because of what we've been doing since morning, Bookie, I couldn't, the only thing I could make for them this morning was breakfast. So I made breakfast. I prepared some things. So I'm never saying, I can't do it, right? I know how much important and valuable my husband is to me on this journey
Yes.
and the support I get from him. But here's the
Yeah.
thing I say, here's that thing. We sacrifice our lives for men. These men go ahead and live their lives. They are bagging the certificates, they are bagging the laurels, they are doing well at work, they are doing all of that. Now, we sometimes, because of the result of us wanting them to do well, we now stay at the back end. We don't meet up to that standard. We give them so much. We give them so much that they did not even demand for. We practically put our power in this man's hand. And as time goes on, one day you just wake up and it seems like, where is Bookie? Where is Nick? And you're like, what happened to me? Now you start getting angry. You get
Hmm.
angry because, see, you are the one that decided you wanted to be cooking money. You cook for that man to take to the office. You cook for him. You cook brunch for him. You send it to his office. You cook lunch for him, but it's waiting for him by the time he comes home. Then you cook dinner. Now you keep doing it, you keep doing it. One day something is just snapping. You're doing so much, you're giving so much, you're expecting the man to also give you back. But because of the demand on his own time, he's not able to give you that measure back, right? Then you get angry with what I do for you, blah, blah, blah. And the guy sometimes thinks, you don't have to do it. I'm enjoying it because I think that is what you want.
And that would get you angry,
And
angrier.
that would
Like,
upset you. He would
look
so
at this.
upset you. Okay, he was so upset you because you'd be like, yay, I have giving you my life. I'm giving you my da, 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 da. And as time goes on, you begin to resent that guy. You resent him for something he really didn't do wrong.
Yeah.
If you want to look at something he didn't do wrong, you chose that life. You chose to be like that. And it necessarily doesn't have to be exactly like this for everybody. But I'm just saying that, you choose that and that happens. And then at a point, you now begin to resent them. Sometimes you then now begin to snap at the kids. You snap at the kids and then saying like, your father did this. And the child is wondering, how is my own involved in all of this? You have a problem with my father, both of you should solve it and resolve it. But we begin to lash out. We begin to get upset. We are lashing out. We are transpiring our own turmoil, the turmoil we feel internally. We are transpiring it. Now, what we don't know is that even as you transfer that thing, you're already programming your kids.
Wow.
You're already setting up a pattern for them. They think the right thing to do when you're not happy is to lash out. So you're conditioning them. One day something happens, they to lash out. You're like, why are you angry? Mommy, you showed him or her how to be angry. You just show. But and you see, if we want to be truthful to ourselves, the things we learned unconsciously are more than the things we learned consciously.
Yes.
The things we learned unconsciously are more, because we observe as human beings. We're observant. Even when we think we're not paying attention to it, we're observant. We're seeing these things. We're looking. We see these things. We feel these things. We hear these things. And when we hear them, we take that information. We also give those things our own meaning. Remember, I said 2 days ago, as kids, we're meaning-making machines. We do these things, and then we grow up not knowing that all those things are settled in. Then we too run the pattern. I've been saying it everywhere. There is no generational cause. It is generational pattern. The same thing you saw people do. Then you come here and then you are doing it again.
Yeah.
So then when you do the same thing, you will get the same results.
Yeah.
We will get the same results.
Yeah.
So it's not the way we look at it and how we think, oh, this is how this is. So when you do those things and you're not able to connect with your real self and be the best you can be, a lot of things is at stake. Yes. See, I believe that when we as women begin to get better and we begin to understand who we are and what makes us tick and understand the kind of beliefs that have been running our lives and we change them, on the long run, it changes our identity, that concept of ourselves that we hold in our minds. And when we're able to do that, we can then now go into life with clarity. We go into life with clarity. I've talked about self-knowledge, which is the values, the beliefs, and the identity. Now, when we have all of that sorted, when we have done the work and we have all of that sorted, we then now are able to choose a path we want to go in life, choose a goal. One thing I've discovered, Buki, is that the reason why people start things with so much energy and they're not able to conclude it is because that goal is not, it doesn't represent what they truly want.
Yeah.
So now it's the end of the year. People are like, let's New Year resolutions. In fact, Nigerians don't even start early. Is that 31st today? Then people say New Year resolution. Where did that New Year resolution come from? It comes from the wind. Like, let's just catch something. It's true. It comes from the wind. Oh my God. It comes from the wind. Bookie, oh God. It's true. It comes from the wind. They just want to pick it. This is what 2020 did to me. Looks like going into 2021. Really? Do you know the things that are important to you as a person? Or you're just following the crowd? Then if you have a friend that says, then you to begin to regurgitate it, or you modify it a bit, just so that it will suit that thing. So you go, okay, it's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. Maybe me too, I should do it. Women, we are amazing.
And then you said something that the night that you sleep tonight is the same night you sleep on December 31st.
Ben.
So there's no extra cosmic power that comes and changes.
At all. Honestly, it's
if you have questions, type them in. I'm really, really loving this. Like I could go on and on here, But if you have questions, type them in. And I always have questions. Like, for instance, I'm going to ask you. I'll talk about that later. You're on identity already. How do you deal with people? Because by the time we begin to, number one, I want to say clearly here, for me, I am of the opinion, totally convinced that when you begin to change, it makes you look bad. It may make you look bad, but you are not
Oh, sure. You know that people are not used to this new you or
this.
this you that
Yeah,
wants to evolve.
yes.
So, you see, there's something I call change management. So
Okay.
then, even you that you are doing it, because and then we'll get to it. I think that's something we'll also get to when it comes to being ecological, being ethical, right?
Mhm.
We will get to that. Of course, people are not used to that. It's just like me coming now and then the way you've always known me, even though I think you're even more open-minded because I have evolved over and over and over and over that even my old friends, some of our old friends can't catch up and be like, oh, this is who she is. They can't because I'm like, you can't the way I was some months ago, it's not the way I am right now because I'm constantly exposing myself to a higher level of information and knowledge. Sometimes some years, I think it was 2 years ago, a friend of mine called me and was like, where are you? I said, well, if you're looking at physically, I'm in my house. But if you're looking at what I am doing, I'm in America. And then the person was like, what does that mean? I said, I'm in a class in America, in Arizona right now. I said, so if you ask me where I am, I have to qualify where I am. I am physically here, but then
Somebody says
mentally,
on Instagram.
psychologically,
Somebody says on
what?
Instagram. Somebody saying on Instagram that I remember being tagged bad by family and friends. Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sure. You'll be bad. It's not possible you're not bad. And then for me, here's what the way I look at it. It's not that for me, I keep saying it, and I said this some days ago, I think yesterday. People don't have that very around here, people don't have that very rich vocabulary to be able to qualify you or
Yeah.
yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that thing was apparent. We did it yesterday. We did it some days ago. In fact, I think since we started this workshop that we did, it's been apparent that I've had to point out. I said to people, go and update your vocabulary because it's
Okay,
not.
let me give you expo. While you were talking
Yes.
with us, I was looking at the thesaurus. Like I
You
opened my
see?
thesaurus and like, okay, it will give me like 30 other words for this. Okay, this one works well. So when you say, Bookie, you're doing well. Is it Chika does not know my
She
I'll
meant
go
it
there,
too.
check the definition and like, yes, expand your vocabulary. There's intention to this thing. But
Yes.
the
So
only
when people say, yes, you were saying.
I said sometimes the only emotion somebody feels that they can say is anger. Like
Yeah.
I can't associate another definition to any other thing this person is
Are you
going
serious?
through.
There's shame, there's guilt, there's
You
resentment,
know,
there's
but now
rejection,
I but
then
now
there's
I'm learning like okay, it doesn't have to
yeah.
be, especially when my son will come and say my son is 6 years and say, Mommy, I did this because I felt this way. And I'm like,
Eh?
eh? I
Oh,
said,
you
your age, I did not know this word though. Do you even know what it means? I asked him, do you know what it means? He said, yes,
and
this
he
is
would
what it
explain it
means.
to you.
I'm like, oh my God. So yeah.
Yeah. So, in terms of vocabulary, I mentioned that because the person that sent in the conversation said, the chat said, people called me bad because and my family and all that. What they don't have is that right word to express how you feel. Now, if you do not have a word for something, you cannot express it or you cannot even experience it.
Hmm.
Right? So people will say it's bad. What they don't, another way they could look at it is you're different right now, but they don't want to say different. They don't even know how to say it because they don't know it. So
Yeah.
sometimes as people say some things to me, I'm helping them to be like, oh, okay, how do you mean? Do you mean this? Even when you see the way I guide in the class, I'm like, what would this word be a better word? And the person goes, hey. That's what I mean. I'm
Yes.
like, it's okay. It's English, oh. People don't have the right, no, people don't have the right words. That's why sometimes when people say the child is stubborn, I'm like, is that child stubborn or that child is insistent on what they want?
Mm-hmm. True.
Or that child is decisive.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, if it that, I'm like, now we use those words and then we label people bad. So whoever sent that chat is okay. Forgive them. It's word that they don't have. It's
Yeah. So
okay.
that brings me to that question. Like, how do you talk? You are on change management. So how do you deal
Yes.
with this? Because
Okay.
even though you are
So
evolving, it doesn't make the
yeah.
world go to
Yeah, it
Armageddon.
doesn't make the
Like,
world stop.
yeah.
So here's something I do. I'm going on the journey and some things were going to be different about me. Or even with the next 1 month, I'm going to adjust some things about me and adjust my space, my mental, my emotional space. I'm going to adjust that. So here's what I do. I bring in the people that are close to me. I bring them up to speed about it. Now, I don't expect that because I brought you up to speed, you get it. It's fine. You won't get it. It's not your journey, it's my journey, right? When they react, because I am in control and in charge of myself, I look at them, I'm able to like dissociate and look at them from that point of empathy to say, oh, okay, this person is reacting because of this. All right. So sometimes the way I would carry on that conversation, what would normally erupt and make some people go crazy and go mad, I'm like, oh, and you're feeling this because, oh, I get it. That got to you because that's not the normal thing you would expect that I do. Especially given, like, yes, it's not the normal thing. I'm like, okay, you do remember that we talked about it, that for this next 2 weeks, this is what is going to happen and this is how it's going to happen. And then we say, yes, you said it, but I wasn't expecting this. Oh, okay, it's fine. How would you like me to help you in this present moment so that you can get it? And you don't, and you feel less than whatever the word is. You feel less agitated, and all that. And then they go, oh, okay. It took a while, even for my husband, because sometimes when I get like that, it's like, no, 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 this is not like that. See, it is what I want, right? And I'm doing this thing for the good of all of us. Oh. Because if I am not better, the standard of your life will not be better. The quality of your life will not be better. Everything is not going to be better because I'm going to be like, So I get it when people kind of react. It's because they don't know how to handle that part of you that is evolving. And what they want is everybody does, not everybody, most times people don't like change. So you're also bringing change and it's affecting some things. Now, let me link this up to something, the next phase. I talked about self-knowledge, which is the first level we go through to understanding us and doing like an identity repatterning thing. Now, the second phase is the self-discovery. Like I said, and it starts from, what's important for you, you have your value, you've discovered your limiting beliefs and you've changed them. Now, all of that contributes to the identity. Identity is the concept of yourself that you hold. Most times, most of us, based on experiences we've had in the past, have developed this way of thinking about ourselves. Some people think, oh, they are helpless. Some people think they're not capable of doing anything. Some people feel they're not good enough. Now, we work on that. When we work on that, it's like clearing a fallow land. It has grown bushes, it has grown weeds, a lot. Now we work on that and we say, what do we want to use this land for? That is the second level, which is the self-discovery. And the first thing with the self-discovery is clarity. What do you want going from here? Haven't gone through this journey of discovering yourself, knowing what's important to you, changing your beliefs, having an identity that is now healthy. What do you want? Now, people get into that point, and that is that place we are right now at GTC, where we are. And those set of questions came under clarity to say, what specifically do you want for yourself? And it was so timed to be a time to come to a time like this, because we're going into the new year. Do you get? So what do you want for yourself? What specifically do you want? And it has to be positive. Not, I do not want. People go there a lot. And you saw today was so apparent how people would revisit negativity. They will go back into that place of bringing in negative words, What
I don't want this one. I don't want that one. I don't want to condemn. I don't want to, instead of saying, this is what I want. For me personally,
this is the direction I'm going.
Mentally, it feels to me like if I say I do not want this now, I feel stuck in the past. It's not like I want to go somewhere and I can't put my address on the GPS.
That's what when I made that example that day, and I said, having clarity and being specific about what you want, right? It's that thing about ordering an Uber ride.
Yeah.
You're going somewhere and you want to order an Uber ride. The first thing he asks is your destination. Where are you going? Yeah. Then he asks for your present location. Where are you?
Yeah.
Right? So where are you right now? Where are you going? Right? For this conversation, let's just keep it to where are you going? Now, where are you going is what do you want? Is that why are you dancing?
And Uber, By the time you say where you are, Uber will create options for you. Options for you.
Like,
and brings it to you.
Exactly. And it is based on that option, it gives you what your rate is going to be.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. It's going to give you, it even tells you, okay, this is the fastest route. Look at this one, look at that. And even like a Google map too, like it just gives, okay, see, based on that was why that day when we're having that first class, I asked that first whatever the session for December, I asked, what is it that you want? So sometimes people go overestimate, like, okay, now because they found this new awareness, they know they are capable, they feel energized, they are productive, they are doing that. People overestimate what they can achieve in 1 year and underestimate what they can achieve in a lifetime.
Say that again.
People overestimate what they can achieve in 1 year and underestimate what they can achieve in a lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Anyways, let's go back to it. You have clarity. Clarity is the first thing. You're going this way. This is where you're going. That is the direction. Beautiful. So we start with this journey. Now, there are things that we need to consider most times, which I find that most people don't consider when they are going on this journey. They have clarity. They want something else. They want to choose better. They've chosen better for themselves. And that is, people do not look at what I call they don't do the ecology check. Now, we are all a part of a community, whether it's a family community or it's a work community or it's a societal community or it's a religious community. We're all a part of it. Now, when you effect a change at one level, it affects all the other areas, whether directly or indirectly. So this brings us to what I was saying about the change management thing. Now, when you want to effect a change at this level, or when you effect a change at this level, when you want to, it is needful for you to consider the benefit or how it's going to affect all other areas, right? Now, ecology is the benefit of all other parties involved, the advancement and the benefit of all other parties involved. So now, because you've discovered yourself and you've discovered how limitless you are, doesn't mean you go about this and you let your family suffer, you let your children suffer, you let your health suffer, you let all those things suffer. You have to come into a place where you are able to work all of it out so much that nothing works against you. So let me give you an example. Most times people say, oh, I want to be at my ideal weight. Now, you also know that I'm saying this is not the general thing. Everybody says, I want to lose it, I want to lose it, I want to lose it. That's what the Nigerian or most times people say. Now, you want to be at your ideal weight. You want to have that vitality and that energy. That's what you want, right? Now, whatever you're doing, consider this. If it's that you're going on a diet, how helpful is this diet? I'm not so much into diets, right? I'm not about that life. I don't do that, right? Now, sometimes people go on a diet that affects their immune system. Then they crash. When they crash, then they now go, this thing is hard. I'm not doing it again. Now, every time we experience failure or we experience some kind of fight or resistance in one area of our lives, what it does is that what our brain does is that our brain protects us from going through that again. So your brain interprets it as hard and not necessary. So it makes it difficult for you to get up and go and do it.
Yeah.
So you need to make sure that all the necessary parties, not maybe that you need to go and get their buy-in, no, but you ensure that everything is sorted out and everything is catered for.
So that your good is not evil spoken of.
Yeah, so that your good is not evil spoken of. And most times we really don't find people who really consider that. Because they're like, no, this is what I want. I'm focused.
Are there times in relationships where you actually would have to walk away?
I won't be okay. So I had this interview with the fashion boss, I think like some weeks ago, and then she too implied something like that. And my response is this: I won't be able to talk about that right here and right now. Because that thing is, aside from the fact it's sensitive, most times people think they're in a toxic relationship and that relationship is not working. What they do not know is that sometimes they are the toxic ones,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
And if I've found someone has said, "Oh, really? I'm not toxic," and the next question I
And
ask the person is that
combination.
if you're not toxic, how did you attract this? How did you bring this into
Mm.
your space?
Mm.
Because there must be something about you that made you take decision. Now, it could have been the time you were not aware. I get that, and
Yeah.
I consider that, right, most times. But now you're aware. Is there a way that there can be a change, whatever going on then, and we can have a change management?
Yeah, because I think part of the awareness is also that you find out, you also get to know the ways, or let me speak for myself. I found out the ways I was showing up as well, not necessarily on the victim end, but the ways I was contributing to whatever situation I had at hand. Initially, when I think it was in Lavansa that I heard it from, like, you have to find out what your own contribution. Don't play the
Journeys,
victim. You were also part of this, like every other person was. Okay,
definitely.
so initially it bumped me. When I now, when with the level of consciousness and being able to sit and unpack some of this, I
Yeah.
realized, okay, this was actually how you showed up as well. This was actually the way you were. Not, yeah, things you did, yes,
Yes.
but your perception, the way you were perceived, how you showed up also, yeah, was also contributory. So there's always
Yes.
two sides to tango,
Yes, yes.
yeah.
So
So
sometimes when people want to, okay, now I've heard this thing, that the issue is not, and then there's something I say, take responsibility, right? Take responsibility. There are things you've also done that, I'm not saying that's the reason why you should be treated the way you are treated, you're being treated, but then when you take responsibility and you really work with yourself, you then now realize that, I worked with someone, a client, and she said, I hope everybody understands Yoruba. It means that
no, not
I
everybody
too.
Yoruba. I know Brenda
Okay,
isn't.
okay.
Stella
I'm
isn't.
sorry. That means that I too have
But
my
I do
own
understand this. I'm
flaws.
sorry.
What did you say?
I said I understand you, but I grew up in Lagos. Sorry about that.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. So that means that I too have flaws, and I have my contribution towards all of this that is happening. Okay. So no one should come and feel like, oh, they are perfect and that these things just happen to them. Life just made it happen. Oh, everything. Nah.
Yeah,
It
but
doesn't.
Nick, I think the balance there for me is also that you may need space. You don't have to walk. You may need
I
space to
don't know. We
unpack.
don't have a case in point, so I
Okay.
can't talk to that, right? I
Okay.
can't, and I see that most times, what people do is try to give advice when I don't even give advice. That's not my responsibility. I
Mhm.
work with people to understand themselves, and then if there is a need for us to bring a family unit, and we look at all of it. So you know what? Look at the things we did yesterday and today, and look at how that has made you and other people involved who they are. If you had heard me on the radio and had said, it's just do this, and some people who call themselves motivational speakers just throw words at people. I'm like, sometimes I've listened to some of them, I'm like, did you work with this person to even understand what is happening? Because we all have unique experiences.
Yeah.
We all have a journey we've been through. So just coming to throw words at people doesn't work. So I don't have a case in point. I don't have all sides to the story. Yes, I can have, when I have my clients, I'm having their own side to the story. But the thing I do is I put everybody back in being at that driver's seat of their own life, where
Yeah.
they then now take decisions for themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, I need to get okay. So
Driver's
I've
seat being taking responsibility for where
yes.
you are, understanding what contributions you are making also in the situation. Yes, not playing the victim, yes, and creating a clear path for yourself. Okay, so go ahead.
Yeah.
Let me not jump
So,
ahead.
we've talked about self-knowledge, we've talked about self-discovery, and now let's talk about the self-strategy, which is like the last angle to it. Now,
That's a
most
fancy
times,
word, by the way. Self-strategy. Like
yeah, so it's
it feels
self-strategy.
important.
Oh, you are important.
I said it feels. The word feels like,
Oh, yes, it does.
you
It
know,
does. And I'll tell you one thing. Most
I
times,
Christine.
most times, also because people don't know what's important to them. They do things, they follow other people's strategy of doing things. People do not know that they are unique in the way they take in external information and they interpret that external information internally.
Mm.
You understand that. So when the day we talked about what's the first thing that happens for you to do this thing, and people were like, for some minutes people felt, I'm like, okay, it's unique to you. There are strategies that we deploy in getting things happen. Now, because I have said it, because most times people do not know who they are, what's important to them, they don't have clarity, they don't have they've not done their ecology check. They tend to follow the pattern everybody is following and do things. Now, that is why people start things with some level of zeal. That is one of the reasons. There are other reasons. People start things with so much zeal, and as time goes on, the fire begins to fizzle out. It fizzles out. It
Yeah.
fizzles out. It fizzles out. Because that thing is not in alignment with what would naturally work for them.
Yeah.
There is a way you operate as a person. There is a way things happen to you as a person. There is a way, there are some things that you can sustain and is realistic for you. So now you have your goal, you're clear about your goal, you've done the clarity, you've done the ecology check, which is something, and then you now decide, how am I going to do this? So I'll give us an example. The goal, and I'm going to use a metaphor to do this. The goal is 10, right? So metaphorically speaking, whatever goal you or objective you want is 10, right? 10. Let's put a number to it, 10. Whether it's that you want to be at your ideal weight, whether it's that you want to get a new job, whether it's that you want to have meaningful relationships, right? You want to get into relationships that are fulfilling and meaningful. Whatever it is, we're going to put a number. We're going to represent it with number 10, okay? So that's it. Now, there are many ways to get to 10. The goal remains the same, but there are different ways of getting to the goal. If we look at addition, 5 plus 5 will give us 10, right?
Yeah.
8 plus 2 will give us 10.
Yes.
7 plus 3 will give us 10. 9
Mm.
plus 1 will give us 10. The goal remains the same. The way we go about the goal could be flexible. The whole idea of stress strategy is to understand how you function and go about it that way. Go about achieving your life, go about it that way. Don't follow the crowd, because we're not all the same, because we don't even live in the same environment.
Yeah.
Yes, we all might live in Lagos, but then there are different areas of Lagos, and even by environment, not necessarily the people, it's also the level of exposure and our kind of mindset. It's different. What I can do that might take me, that based on my continuous working at it, I've now become a master at it, and it would take me 1 hour. Some other persons might not be able to do it, and then you now begin to feel like, oh, I'm a failure, I'm not bad. No, I'm not good, rather. No. Be flexible in your approach to achieving your goal. Work with what works with you. Don't start thinking of, oh, it has to be this way. Now, that is addition. If you want to look at multiplication, we will say 2 times 5 give
Okay,
us
that's
10.
even addition in the binary system. No, in the
See now,
they want to go
I
to the
told you.
binary system of addition. That's a
Yeah.
whole kettle of fish. Let's go to multiplication.
Do you get?
Yeah.
So when there are limitless ways, when there are bountiful ways of doing this thing, and you want to be like, it has to be this. So remain flexible. Be flexible in attaining that goal. Be flexible. You're on a journey. You need to understand yourself. Most times people come to me and they're like, I have to do this thing. I'm like, what is that one thing that if you mastered right now and you did very well, it would give you that boost so that you're able to then now do the remaining things. Then people pause and they're like, eh. I'm like, why do you want to overload yourself and burden yourself? Why? Why are you doing that to yourself? Why? Because see, we have a lifetime to do this thing, and nobody's getting out of this whole system alive. We're all going to die to get out of the system. So calm down. Right? So there are many ways. There's multiplication, there's division, there's subtraction. There are many ways to get to this place. Now, when you do that, then you also come back and be like, okay, how did multiplication go for me now? Was it 2 times 5 that I did? And I'm metaphorically speaking here. Was it 2 times 5 that I did that got me 10? Oh, nice. Did I get the 10? Oh, okay. I didn't do 2 times 5 the way I was meant to do 2 times 5. What I did was 2 times 4. That's why I got an 8 and I didn't get a 10. Okay, what do I need to do? What factor do I need to bring in to make this complete 5? How am I going to do it? What do I need to do less of to be able to get this? What do I need to do more of? What was it that I used to do in the past that I then now need to revisit and start doing? And what do I need to completely stop doing so that I can achieve my 10?
A lot of introspection there. I just see a journey within. You're taking a journey within. You're not taking cues from outside. You're not taking cues from social media or a friend who you think is doing well. Yeah, that's cool.
I thought I put do not disturb. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So it's a personal journey. You're going at a pace. You also need to, because you see, sometimes when people put that pressure on themselves, they're not able to do. And I've been muting it. And my next client's meeting is 10 o'clock. I don't know who this is, and it's an unknown number. I have put, okay, you know what I'm going to do? Until I turn it off. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. Just give me a second. Everything seems to be done right. I don't know what's happening.
That's technology, technology.
Like, everything is ticked and checked, So people tend to put themselves under pressure. They put themselves under pressure. They are not able to deliver. Then some people be like, no, I don't want to be seen as this. Then they go ahead making mistakes and keep repeating the same thing year in, year out, and they're not able to be their best. So there is I think what the part I whether it's a personal consultation, whether it's anything, I like for people to start on that.
You're muted.
Whole power back into your hands, where you are enabled to be you, and you kind of like gather all the things you've given, the power you've given to other people, you bring it back in, and you're able to chart the course of your life going forward and make the best out of it.
That's so cool. Tell us more about the GTC. Tell us.
Okay. GTC is Girls Talk Cafe, and it started during COVID period, but that was not when the idea came to me. 5 years ago, when I was on a particular journey, I just said to myself, I know women are going through a lot of things. If I was going through it, I knew that our hearts are fashioned alike, and regardless of whether you're anywhere else, if we all are in a particular culture, we have suffered some some level of things from Pontius Pilate together, looking at the way we're brought up and all that. When I started my personal journey, this journey of growth and development, I realized so many things that had happened when not necessarily didn't happen well or didn't happen right. So at some point I said to myself, okay, you know what? I've gone on this journey. I've gone on at least a level of this journey, an extent of this journey. Could you guys give me 1 second? Someone is on my phone. Could you guys give me just 1 second?
Okay. All right.
I don't think my guys heard in the room. Just give me 1 second. Okay, I think they heard. All right. So I realized I was on that journey, and I was on that journey, and I became better from just going through that short experience. So I said to myself, you know what? I would like to create a space whereby I'm able to help people the initial idea was that I wanted a brick and mortar where people come Friday nights. And then we're talking about things like this, and we're talking about experiences. We're all going on this journey, and I'm able to help people how I have also overcome some things, and I've gone through some experience. And I was like, okay, you know what? Brick and mortar. There was a place I was looking at in Lekki Faison, and then at a point, it just got so frustrating, and I kind of let it go, right? And it was later on when I started again that I said to myself, Nika, what is the goal? The goal is that you want to be able to help women move from point A to point B, move from being dissatisfied, frustrated, discontented, depressed and all of that, to this place whereby they live an authentic life. They're in a state of flow. They're able to make more money, have fulfilling relationship with themselves. That is what you want. All right. So see, my goal was 10, like I was saying. So I thought, how do I make this happen? Now, being a performance consultant, a result coach, amongst other things, during COVID, my services were really demanded and needed. So I would see clients and I would see people, and then, and then there was someone I needed to see, and she couldn't pay for my services. And, I didn't feel good about that, because she wanted to have, based on what she had said to me, we needed to have like some hours of consultation and do that. And I felt like, she can't pay for this and all that. So I thought, you know what? The whole idea of GTC came again. One of the first things I said was like, if I'd started GTC now, this would have been an opportunity for this person to just fall in. Like somebody else had also made a call, and like this would be an. Then I thought, what am I even talking about? We have WhatsApp, we have Zoom, I have all the resources I need. I need to sit down and put together this 1-year program, and I'm going to take people on. And then, one day everything just started popping up. And then I think I called you. I called another friend of mine. I was like, okay, so you know what? This is this and this and this and this is what I'm thinking of. My friend was like, thank God.
And then there's a quote that says there is nothing as good as an idea whose time is ready.
Whose time has come.
Whose time has come.
So I was like, and then she was like, blah, blah, blah. Then I called you. I called somebody else. And they were like, okay, you know what, whatever it is. I was like, okay. When I was like, all right. So you know what, let me just go back to the drawing table. And then I did that, and I looked at, okay, you know what, what's the first level in me even meeting with the clients? What do I need to do with them? And I thought, okay, let's bring together this group where it's going to be virtual, also because COVID has humbled all of us and we can't go anywhere. And I think for me, that's one of the blessings of this year for me, where I've also been able to look inward and use a lot of more resources than I've ever thought I had. So I created Girls Talk Cafe from that place of need, from that place to help a fellow woman come in terms with herself, understand who she is, and live that life that she has truly desired to live, right? So we are going all on a journey where we are moving from this present place we are to this place whereby we're producing outstanding results. We're living life not just because somebody is doing something to us. We're living life joyfully from the inside because we know who we are. We know our stuff. And it's not pseudo confidence that I sometimes see some people exhibit, like they're doing the Shantri. I'm like, no, it's not like that. You are truly connecting with who you are so much that whether the external factors changes or not, you are still living a life. You're still living a life of authenticity. And that's how Girls Talk Cafe is. Of course, it's subscribed. It's a yearly subscription. And for those in Nigeria, it's 30,000 naira per year. For those outside of the country, it's $75 Canadian dollars. And I think American dollars is maybe like $90, something like that. So it's a year.
It will be lower because of the exchange rate. But yes, in any case, whoever wants to be on this journey can actually connect at on Instagram at Nika Iriayo. Nika, I think you should give us an email. Give us because what I've found that in different parts of the people connect differently. Like I know that in Canada, for instance, people don't do Instagram that much. You do Facebook, email.
Okay. My email address is Ajayi. Let me put it here.
Okay.
adenike@gmail.com. So it's adenike@gmail.com.
All right.
Let me give you a number you can I give a number on this
Oh,
platform?
sure, sure.
Okay. My number is 080 +234 80
Oh, I thought you were putting
222.
it in. I thought you were putting it
Okay.
in. Okay.
Some people might not be able to see.
Okay. Or if
So
you can,
it's
or if you don't get all these details and you lose it, just, I mean, if you send an email to info@thebratalk.com, I'll definitely connect you with Nick.
oh my
This
god.
has been an awesome journey. And one of the outstanding thoughts for me is coming face to face with yourself. For those who are familiar with that, there's a part of the scripture that says, with an open face, beholding as in a glass. So what one thing I know this journey does is to bring you to you, connect you to who you are, your authentic self. And it's an interesting,
Maybe
joyful
you should tell
journey.
us about your experience. You know what? You know
Don't
what?
pick out my
I
leg
know.
yet.
I always put you
Nika,
on the
don't
spot.
pick out my leg yet. You're always
You
putting me
know
on.
at all.
Stop it.
You
Stop
know.
it. Stop it.
I'm
Stop
sorry.
it.
This is not my platform, so I take it away.
No,
No,
that
maybe you
was
should just
just
generally tell us your
I was
experience. You
just
know.
kidding. Yeah, but which part of it? I'm thrown in different so many things
No,
that come.
just give us surface. Don't. Of
Yeah,
course,
so
you
that's what
can't go
I'm
into
saying. That's
details.
just what I was summarizing. That it brought possibilities of the version of me to me. It didn't bring possibilities of what would happen, opportunities, and all that. It brought the version of me that I really it articulated the expression of me that I really wanted to connect with. And the way memories would slap me in the face, slap me in the head, like, oh, you forgot that. Oh, now I remember. Oh, now this connects. Oh, now I'm like, hey, sometimes, Nika, do you know that there was a day I just started dancing, in jumping jacks in my parlor with no music, nothing, out of excitement. I was like,
Yeah.
Bookie, you all right? I said, yeah, oh girl, I'm all right. So it
Because you connected to that inner child that you had buried for years. So you connected to that inner child, like, oh, more, let's dance. Let's do this.
so for me, even my
I'm
children
glad
are
to hear
like,
that.
now we dance. Yesterday we're dancing to bigger every
You
day,
see?
bigger every day. Even my son was like, Mommy, let's play that again. It was like,
So you see, that part of you would not have come to bear. People would not, your kids would not see that part if you are not at a point
oh
connected to yourself. So I say
no.
to people, when you hold back from becoming a better person, you're robbing your family, you're robbing your spouse, you're robbing your children of that part of you that even you have lost contact with.
Mm-hmm.
You're robbing them of something. You're robbing yourself off of something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
And
they need
one
to see
thing,
that part.
yeah, and one thing is I feel more powerful in the moment. I
Yeah.
don't know how to define that, but I feel maybe because I'm not afraid to be authentic.
Yeah.
I'm
You've
not
come to
afraid to be
accept
like,
yourself.
this works with me, this doesn't work for me, this works for me. I'll go this way. And I say this carefully, like I'm not afraid to take risks on myself.
Yeah.
I'll just try it. And sometimes because I believe that when I need to stop, there's this intuition I have to say, okay, it's okay right there. Okay, no, I think I've gotten the feedback. Yeah, I have that kind of thing. So yeah, so I feel powerful in the moment. And the very fact that I can feel stronger and stronger with connecting with myself. So I'm not in a counseling session with Nike.
Mm,
I'm not in tell me what to do. I give you feedback. Okay, this is what I
mm.
did.
That's not
I'm
what this
not
is
in
about.
that. Yeah, I'm not in. You didn't have to say that. Like I know. I'm not in that. But I'm connecting with like taking my friend on a journey and say, oh girl, let's go. Where are we going today? Okay, let's go there. Okay, what do we do there? Okay, let's have a cup of coffee. I want one more sugar. I want just experimenting and seeing how beautiful life is in itself, in
That's
me, not outside, right? In me.
that's great.
Anyway, I think that should be fine.
That's so great. Thank you for the feedback.
Thank you, everyone, for
Well
this
done.
evening. Yeah, and in the coming days, I mean, in the coming days, with expression of this will come in different ways. So, yeah, in the coming days, because what this is doing is making me bear down on my gifts and express them fearlessly. So yeah, more authentically. Yeah, So thank you so much all for joining. I need to say thank you to those on Instagram. They've joined live. Um, there are some people joining on YouTube or watching, and those that will join after. For those who are on Zoom, thank you for joining. Stella, Brenda, Christine, Dami, Josiah. Thank you all for joining on this. This personally is an exciting journey for me, and I felt bringing it to my community was going to help jumpstart experiences for different people. And you know what? There is nothing as good, as being able to know this is who you are and showing up for that, knowing that it's going to create a greater good in the world. I mean, for me, that is stellar, and that's the journey that we've been on at the Girls Talk Cafe. So to join or for more inquiries, just email Adenike Ajayi at gmail.com, or just send a DM at Nike Ariyo on Instagram, or the number at Nike Ariyo on Instagram. And if all these details have just gone away, just DM, or for those who want to know my WhatsApp me, DM me, call me, email me, whatever. But let's get this going. 2021, yeah. Something, when I mentioned 2021, I was just like, for me, it's blurry. December 31st and January 1st is blurry for me. But anyway, so because I also believe that whatever you need to get to it right now. There's no next time like now. All right. So thank you so much all for joining. This is a wrap for this year, the BraTalk, and next year is going to be really, really exciting because, like I said at the beginning, the conversation about bras and breast support is like the door, just like any other physical thing. Like getting a good pair of shoes that you really love, a pair of gloves, a hat that you really love. This some of the breast support conversation is a door that opens, to a wider space of our wellness as a woman. Okay, and like I say, different breast support means different things at different stages in life. A woman's body changes like an average of 6 times in a lifetime, and the needs are different, right? For somebody who wants to a career in a particular space, and you're not doing that because you don't feel like you are there and all that. So the breast support is a door that opens to the space of the total woman, how authentic you are with who you are, and how you show up in the world and make it a better place, like all of us are meant to. So keep your fingers crossed. Subscribe to our newsletter at TheBraTalk.com. We'll have exciting journey ahead, and Girls Talk Cafe is a good place to start. So looking out for that subscription. And Nike, thank you so much. I'm going to call you after this, and we're going to gist.
Definitely.
Yeah. But thank you. I want to place this out there. Thank you. I've known you over the years, and we are peers, right? But I say I don't calculate that in years. I calculate that in encounters. I calculate that in our journey, in our epiphanies and all that. And I remember having a conversation with you where I said there was a time Jesus was regarded as the son of a carpenter. When he was the son of God, he was bringing a whole lot of transformation to the world. People have witnessed that, but there were still some spaces that you'd go to and be like, who be that? Like, who is that? We know you. We know where you're coming from. And, how can you get there, and all that. But I honor you. I really thank you for the journey that you have gotten through with yourself, that you're going through with yourself, that is making other people and people like us also go on that journey. You understand? Yeah. So, and that I say that because every other person here too, we have a journey that we are going to go on that will so much shine our light, that we're able to shine on the path of those we have been called to or sent to. So this is an expression of it, and I want to appreciate you for that. So everybody, please unmute yourself and say thank you to Nike. Thank you, Nike.
Thank you, Nike.
Thank you, Nike.
Thank you.
Bukola.
Thank you.
Thank you so much all for joining. This is a wrap. This brings us to the end of the BraTalk December. Oh my, I was supposed to put my Christmas stamp on my Santa. Oh my.
We like you like that.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry
Enjoy
Christmas.
your Christmas. Enjoy your Christmas and a happy New Year.
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas.
Thank you for joining. Yeah. Thank you, Kristen. Thank you, Dami. Stella, I see you. All right, Brenda. All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye,
everyone.
everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you.